What up, everybody? You're now tuned into Jaguars Daily. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, and I'm here to give you Jags News Daily. Got some breaking news today, of course. Monteric Buster Brown re-signs with the Jaguars. 3 years, 33 mil. It's about the range I said. You can go look at my videos. It's about the range I said that he was looking to get. And retaining corners is easier than finding new corners, of course. So there's no surprise that Monterey Buster Brown is staying in Duval. Also, Max Crosby was traded to the Ravens. Jags were supposedly in on that, even if it was just rumors here locally, and whether how serious they were in on it. I don't think they were that serious because of the price tag. Jaylen Carter, teams have been calling to see if he's available. We'll talk about why. And cap space. Jacksonville restructures 3 players ahead of free agency in the new league year. So we're going to get right into it and get you that football fix today, man. Man, yeah, yes, you got to get it today. We got some good stuff today. But we're going to start with Max Crosby, of course. And man, I think this is a great move by the Ravens. I thought that the Cowboys were going to make this move, somewhat. But looking at the compensation, I understand why Cowboys didn't do it. I understand why Jacksonville didn't do it. I totally understand why the Ravens did it. This is not to say anything bad about what was given up. It's just, the asking price for some teams are too much, especially because of deals they previously made and things they had already given up. Like the Cowboys, what they gave up in trades. And then Jacksonville, what they gave up in trades as well. And then players that they have available that were ready for trade. Yeah, it's just not something that either team would have done. The Ravens get one of their best defenders they've had in a very very long time. Nobody's close to as far as since Max Crosby's come into the league. I think he has like almost 70 sacks. I think 69.5 or some numbers, something like that. That's like 39 more than the Ravens leader over that time span. Almost 40 sacks more, and that's Matabike, a defensive tackle. So that tells you all you need to know about their pass rush and where it's at and what they value. Because now you get Max Crosby, who's only 28. I don't know why, but I thought he was older than that. But him being only 28, dude, you can get a lot of production out of him for the next 5 years or so. I think he's an excellent player. Even when there was, rumors about the Jaguars trading for him and the packages that, they were talking about giving up. The one I didn't agree with was Trayvon Walker. I'm like, are you out of your mind? Are you insane? You need to get out of that dinosaur mindset. If anything, you trade away Josh Hines Allen, not Trayvon Walker. And I love both of them. But as far as Max Crosby was concerned, you're not giving up Trayvon Walker for him. Like Josh Hines Allen and like BTJ or something. Okay, now we talking somewhat. Still think that's a little steep, but yeah, it is what it is. But the Ravens got their guy with no problem, and they're extending. They got to extend him too as well. And all these things are not official just yet until the new league year on the 11th. But these deals are in place, so most likely they will be confirmed at that time, and nothing's going to change. That's usually how it goes. Every now and then, somebody will back out or want to rework a deal or something along that nature. But for the most part, Max Crosby gets out of Vegas. He does not come to Duval. Ravens going to get their guy. I think everybody's happy. But this still doesn't. This doesn't solve Jacksonville still has holes they need to fill, or things they see that's a need, and defensive line is one of the needs, specifically defensive tackle, which leads us into our next topic, and that is Jaylen Carter. And it was very interesting about Jaylen Carter. We're gonna leave that right there. And with Jaylen Carter, he's only in trade discussions because of his teammate Jordan Davis signing a lucrative extension. I think it's like 78 mil or something like that. And so right away, teams get to calling the Eagles about Jaylen Carter. It's like, well, you re-sign Jordan Davis, and then you gonna be able to keep both. So that's what I'm guessing that the discourse was, and people trying to figure out, are they going to keep him? Are they going to be able to re-sign him? Because the Philly has a lot of guys they have to pay. So I understand it. I understand it. And supposedly Jacksonville has been on the phone to inquire about what it would cost to go get Jaylen Carter. The same with the interest in Max Crosby. They say wasn't super serious, but I'm hearing at least they went and found out what the compensation was. At least had a conversation. Philadelphia, I'm sure they were more active on the Philadelphia front than the Max Crosby front, because I mean Jaylen Carter, he's younger. I think he has more upside. He's at a position that is much harder to find than defensive end. Max Crosby's great. Don't get me wrong, but I can go get if I have a need there, just go get Trey Hendrickson, and I don't have to pay anything to go and get him. But a Jaylen Carter, that's that one right there. That you have to do your homework, figure out what's going on, and whether they were willing to really part ways and try to get a package or something going, if that's what you're trying to do. Because Jacksonville had already been linked to getting a defensive tackle last year. They were in on Quentin Williams. They were in on DeMarcus Lawrence. Not DeMarcus Lawrence, but Dexter Lawrence. They were in on both of those guys. So that lets me know. They traded for Colin Sanders from the New Orleans Saints, who's formerly with the Chiefs. So defensive tackle is a position of need. So them being in on Jaylen Carter is no surprise whatsoever. He's a great young player. Just got a few issues, man. Just a few. The spitting on Dak Prescott was a bad look. Even when you go look at the video, Dak did spit, but Dak spit on the ground. He didn't spit on him. Even if he spit at him, it went on the ground. It didn't touch him. So it was just out of line, man. Just out of line. I know he was supposedly, allegedly, I'm say allegedly to all these things because I don't know the details, the truth, whatever. Allegedly, he was speeding, got into an accident, and a teammate and I think a GA, a graduate assistant, passed away allegedly. I'm just saying these things allegedly. No people out there, they say they were like, well, it's fact online or whatever the facts are. Yeah, but I'm going to say allegedly. Those are things that have happened. So he kind of got the screw loose, and got a little bit of a screw loose too, man. You just watch him in his play, but those are the things that make them great as well. So that's the only problem with like Antonio Brown. You can't take away from who he is and what he's accomplished, and just take the production. No, you gotta take the whole thing. You can't take parts that you like. You have to take the whole thing, and because part of that craziness, part of that off the field stuff, part of that extraness is a part of who they are and what makes them good. Like Jaylen Carter spitting on Dak Prescott, I get it. I get it. Disgusting. Don't condone it, but I get it because he's a highly competitive guy, and he was ready to. He's been waiting on football. He was ready to chomp at the bit. Like, it's like that. You spit on me, dude. That's what we know. You spit on me, I spit on you. And of course, he should have been suspended. All those things happen. But even with all that said, and I say all of this to be said, I would go get him. Go get him. Go get him. Like guys like that don't hit the open market. So if you're going to get them, you especially that young. We're talking about a third year player, dog. Yes, you go get that guy every single time. Every single time. Every single time. But in my opinion, it's just teams drummed up interest because of their move. Eagles have no interest in trading that young man away. If anybody's going away, it's AJ Brown, and it is not him. So, but like I said, it's nice to think about. It really is. But it is what it is, man. We're gonna leave it right there, and we're gonna talk about Monteric Buster Brown. Welcome back to Duval County, Mr. Brown. I have been an advocate for them re-signing him. I've heard his supposed weaknesses about him not being very fast. not being able to, run with the top end receivers with speed and things like that. But listen here, man, they play in zone, and he just needs to be where he needs to be. You know, the jump he took this year, it's warranted. It is legit, and he would have had a great market. He would have had a great market. See, some people are surprised by the market he supposedly would have had. They're like, are you crazy? Like, even with him being whatever this, whatever that, he's not. He got weaknesses here, weaknesses there. Dude, he's a playmaker, man. He's a playmaker. Number one in zone coverage. Nobody was better as far as passer rating allowed. Nobody was better, man. Nobody was better. So he's this extension was excellent. This was warranted. He deserves every penny. He was going to get this and more from some other team, and then Jacksonville would have been looking for a corner. And if you had any interest in the corners that were better than him, that were on the open market, or you perceive to be better than him, you're going to have to pay more than this. So it's either this, you do this, you pay somebody more money, because I'm not going to get a guy who I believe is not as good, and have to pay him close to this anyway. I'll go get a guy that's better, have to pay him a little more. You either do this, or you bring in a rookie. And this right here. So now Travis Hunter, Monteric Brown, Jordan Lewis, Jarian Jones. Those are your top four going in. And of course, Christian Braswell and Keith Taylor rounds out the corner room. Now they have to work on safety. And I'm sure they may bring in another corner. A late round guy, undrafted guy maybe, but they'll definitely add another corner to the roster heading into training camp. Because they probably carry about seven. Yeah, I'll say about 7 corners into training camp. Maybe 6 or 7, somewhere up in there. But Monteric Buster Brown fills a need, and now they can focus on continuing to restructure and get under the cap and give themselves more cap space, as we'll talk about in our next segment. But shout out to Buster Brown. It is well deserved. Welcome back to Duval. Let's run it back. And I think that this continues to make Jacksonville better. And this also shows before I move on. This also shows coaching matters. Coaching matters, man. Monteric was a 7th round pick in 2022. And even then, I knew he would be around for a little while because he flashed. When he got his opportunities to play, young man played well. He flashed. He had his ups and downs just like any player, but he flashed from time to time. And then when the new regime came in, and I heard about it early, like before he was hurt. It was like, yo, who is that dude? Who's that guy? I need to know who that guy is. And there's well, that's Buster Brown. That's Monteric Brown. And they say he looked great. He looked great in OTAs. He looked great early in camp. I heard nothing but good things about him, and then it translated to the field. Everybody that I heard great things about in camp pretty much translated to the field that next year, regardless of whether they had showed it before. So no-brainer once again. Shout out to Monteric Brown. Get your money, young man. Holla at your boy. Let me get $20. Let me get $20 for sure. But we're going to leave it right there. And we're going to talk about Jacksonville restructuring 3 in cap space. And one of those, Patrick McCary, which I knew he, Patrick McCary, Eric Murray, and Jordan Lewis. They cleared over about $16 million in cap space. So they got under the cap ahead of the new league year, and they'll continue to do a few. I'm just wondering who all they were. Restructuring is a few guys. They got a few more guys like, Eric Armstead, Walker Little, those guys you can restructure to get even more money under the cap as well. And this is probably significant. Probably have. I know they clear about 16 to get under the cap by 110 grand. And then I know for sure off the top of my head, they have at least another 16 to 17 they can restructure and clear ahead of free agency. And then also, like, say you sign, and they may slow play it. If I was Trayvon, I wouldn't mind slow playing it either. But them re-signing him, bring his cap number down because he's on his 5th-year option. They get like 15.4 million, so you can re-sign him and cut that cap number in half to make even more space. So it's a lot of options out there for them to be able to do caponomics and get up under the cap and continue to restructure the roster to bring their guys in and retain the guys that they want. So corner, of course, was a premium position, which is to most teams it is. And so they valued Monteric in a way which previously didn't know if they did or not. It shows me that absolutely they do value him. They value his game. And so they brought him back, which is better than going to, say, get a Jamel Dean, who it would have been like 3 years, maybe 60, somewhere up in there, like 50. So you get a nice deal for an ascending young player who you already know who's this system fits him best, and now you can continue to work on the guys. So Jordan Lewis, Pat McCary, and Eric Murray, they restructure, helping them to pave the way for as far as free agency now. It makes me wonder about who they're going to get. I always thought that they would go get at least one big fish, at least one. If they could get the guy they wanted, they get at least one. If they can't get that guy, I don't think they had any interest in spending ridiculous money on anybody else. So let's say corner, for example, they re-signed their guy, so they weren't looking to spend ridiculous money at corner if they couldn't retain it. Well, only if they couldn't retain their guy, maybe. Safety is still a need, so we could see them move that direction as well in free agency. They're not going to make as much as the corners, though, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do as far as safety is concerned. Andrew Wingard most likely is not coming back. Shout out to Dewey, but it is time to move on. So you got your corner. You looking at safety. Now linebacker. Now this is what everybody's waiting on. Everybody's waiting on now is to hear about Devin Lloyd and ETN and them possibly re-signing them. And them re-signing Buster Brown, one of the two are gone. Either ETN or Lloyd. And if I had to guess off the top of my head, it's Devin Lloyd. Because it's very tough to pay an off-ball linebacker who's not out there every down $16-17 million. Like it's just what it is. It's just what it is. And then on the higher end, he's closer to 20. So I don't know about that one. ETN is going to cost probably a little less than what Buster Brown cost you. So there's no I wouldn't think there's much of an issue bringing back ETN if that's what they value. Not sure, maybe, don't know. But now Jacksonville is in great shape heading into free agency and a new league year, because now you can already had saw the path because of their transparency and watching the moves that they made. But now you can really get a good idea for what they want to do, not what they want to do, but how they're going to accomplish their goals. And so from the you got about 5 or 6 people left that's great candidates for a restructure and retaining your own guys. So I'm sure that they're working overtime right now to retain the guys that they want to retain, while also, which they say the legal tampering period, but teams been talking to teams and agents and all of that before now. So do they value a John Franklin Myers enough to go and get him, knowing that he may be up there with 78, 80 million, 90 million. It's somewhere up in there. Seeing what Jordan Davis signed for, John Franklin Myers, is going to cost you somewhere in that ballpark, maybe even a little more, maybe a little less. Who knows? It's all depending on his market and how teams bid against each other or themselves. Um, so it's going to be very, very interesting. We will be here day in and day out covering everything, giving you the news. Keep my ear to the grindstone and report everything that I find out to you guys, because this is an exciting time. New league year starting, free agency is getting ready to start. The draft is coming up, and before you know it, cleats will be on the grass. So I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm excited. As I was like, starting now, when we starting this in February, when not much going on, is going to make football season that much easier, because now's the time where it's hard to find stuff to talk about it's not redundant. But man, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I appreciate all you guys. Once again, my name is Brandon Lampley. I'm your host. Follow me on all my social medias. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hey, love you guys. Shout out to all the new subscribers. I appreciate it. Yo, we over 10,000 views already, man. We just started this thing, man. This is almost at 200 subscribers, man. I appreciate all of you guys. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later, man.